Today we're gonna do a gameplay footage of a couple of the amps that we've covered and rebuilt lately, and we're just gonna jump right into it. As like I said, as you see, this is the Homebase build. Here is a hybrid of Mitch Rob's build, and with a couple modifications if you follow along in the tutorial. And as you see, it works very well for the first wave and also the later wave past, if it's a random wave, past level past wave 20 such and such, you know which wave it is. Moving on, but as you see, it's still the standard, completely mess up their CC counter thing. But once their CC counter does get messed up, they usually get nuked down by our traps. So yeah, in the first wave, it's pretty easy. And this build right here is it's more damage and spawn killing them, especially in that tunnel down there with the this down there, and this works good. It will kill. It will kill.
Another wave coming soon. Prepare for an attack from the
north. In most of these builds on my Twine Endurance is either a copy from my friend or a hybrid of Mitch Rob's build. And my friend's build is on the east over there, on the east side. And it's also uses very little structures and works well. Moving on to the next amp. And this one also has a couple modifications. It's it's the pathing of my old build when it used to be a stall build, but I just turned I just turned it into a damage build, like a higher damage build with the standard freeze traps, some wall darts, and at the end of it there's some stuff to nuke down a smasher. And so, but as you see, the enemies come right up the ramp. There's a ramp over there that they get froze on, and they path right up there, and they do the little zigzaggy. There are alternate ways to build this. You could have just a straightforward, possibly better to use the straightforward tunnel, because if a propane gets detonated, then it doesn't matter. They mess it up, possibly. 50-50. And I don't even think I've ever seen the back structure be used. So, and I'm pretty sure Mitch Robs has another build already that he has not showed us. But this used to be this base used to be his build before they updated the update that messed up everything that we were fully aware of. But as you see, they still come up this ramp. This wave wasn't propane, but there are propane defenses on this amplifier. And this was modified for damage and also stall, little minimum stall. And sometimes the spawn point messes up and it spawns it into the tunnel. So so they'll end up pathing through that tunnel anyway, eventually, possibly. It's just a couple things to look out for on this amp. I mean, for the most part, we're away from keyboard anyway, and as long as you get to about wave 20, 21, you get a good reward. Even, I think it's like wave 18 or so, I can't remember. But this base is built for my needs, which is not to away from keyboard 3 or 4 hours, just enough time to like possibly cook a meal, because you know it takes hours for me to cook nowadays. Moving on. I lost some people. The next amp that we're going to be covering is the wave 3 amp down here on a hill, or or whatnot. So it's this build right here. As you can hear, there's some slingers. They do not sling past our slinger wall. All we need is just the straight, the walls we have currently down there that prevents them from slinging. And it's like used to, this was the amount of slinger wall you needed was a lot more overbuilt than what it would be before, but previously changes, and believe it or not, this uses a very minimum amount of structures, which I'll show you as soon as I get destroyed by these ghosts. And normally the ghosts do not attack you, because the away from keyboard spot preferably is the island over there in the middle of the lava. But as you see, the enemies come up our little path, and we have them doing a little zigzag through. And we have basically one sound wall that pretty much works for the propane. If the random waves later on ends up being a propane problem, it's probably because your sound wall doesn't have enough trap durability, or your squads don't have enough durability in your squads. But regardless, this is really good for smashers, because the wall light will stun the smasher inside of our high damage pit for smashers. This amplifier gets hit a lot by smashers. It has a lot more smashers that come through here, and so you just need a kind of way to nuke them down a little bit. And this entire tunnel will nuke down the smasher. So, and I think I still need to replace some of these traps with my new traps. Like always, we're always upgrading our new traps and stuff. And this is also an HC for life build, which is also really great for structures if you're having a structure issue and you're looking for a more minimal structure kind of build. This is perfect. It actually saved me a lot of structures using it. Just that right there. So yeah. And then so yeah. And it just works out. And moving on, possibly. One of them, what I don't really want to cover, but it's the pit. As you know, pit is kind of terrible because it gets hit with the tornado wave, and no matter what you build, if you have it built in a certain area, the tornado just rips through everything and tears through everything. So the solution that most people have come up with is just to detour the enemies, and I detour them over here to this side because of that evil tornado right there. And recently I had some more structures. I added extra electrics to the ceiling over here, but it's not like 100% necessary. And I also have it where if I just remove a couple tiles, I can easily remove those because some of them don't even get used. So it's a waste anyway. So like this one on this corner, but and this is a full. This is a Mitch Rob's modified build with damage modifications added, because after the update, the CC counter completely messed this up. This was and used to be 100% stall, but the timing it just wouldn't work out correctly anymore. So just turning this into a damage build is what you have to do. And also, after that tornado leaves, you could, which just threw an enemy on top of that roof, and yeah, whatever. But yeah, the tornado is bad. It'll throw enemies anywhere, like that one just got thrown over here and ran up the ramp. So yeah. But regardless, the enemies, I'm still trying to kill the enemies on this one by pushing them into the lava. But some of them get pushed far enough to get recycled, like that propane guy, which is apparently about 5 CC counters into that little death loop that he's got going on. He's gonna eventually stop caring that he's getting knocked around, so he's gonna run up to the stupid thing and then end up exploding. So yeah, so I would say my pit has some problems, but they're completely problems that you can handle for the most part with a little TLC, you know. Like right after the 4th wave is usually when I away from keyboard. I usually run up here. I usually place wooden floors around here, and then I check the ceiling traps and I replace some of them. I have to run up here because the tornado likes to tickle the edge of that, and so yeah. And that's my pit. It's not, my pit's not shit, but it works out. And it's the block off for some parts is a lot, but it's a hybrid build like most of my builds. And one of our recent builds, which is lava, is also a pretty good build, and it's a HC for life build, hybrid with a couple of my modifications, which is because I left I have a different way to, I changed a different amplifier to knock enemies into this pit, so they'll slowly walk up the tunnel, and it just takes them forever to walk up the tunnel, usually over a minute. So I just found it's easier to knock the ones on G down here and have them walk around. But regardless, that's a different amplifier completely, and that's why I have a little recycler thing at the end of this. There is ways to build it that it just keeps recycling enemies, but the enemies don't like to run all the way down through there. But as you see, this lava build here is great for smashers. It nukes the smashers down decently, and even so, the smashers don't damage it damages the amplifier. So So you're good anyway if a smasher gets to your amps down here on lava. Because and later on I could show you some modifications on how my friend has a new build for this. But this is his old build, which worked out fine and was tested a lot more problems than his previous build. So I would, for now, I'm going to use this build instead of his new single tunnel build. Alright, moving on now that I lost some people on that little thing. Possibly, but yeah. This works out great for the later waves too. As you see, they just fall into place. And we have the standard freeze trap with the damage. Because if you're unaware, freezing the enemies with the freeze trap also uses one of their CC's counters, but you can do a lot more damage to them when they're frozen. So, yeah, a little, and that is, that's lava. That's a little lava for you, you know. And this is kind of a hybrid of, I added some extra traps that he didn't have accidentally, and it works out anyway. Well, really hope y'all enjoyed today's little gameplay video. If you want to see the rest of them, subscribe, and hope to see y'all in a couple days. See y'all, or whenever, year.